Hi, this is Tim from fittatmidlife.com. Today, I've got the brand new Reebok Legacy Lifter II. This is the second version of Reebok's premium Olympic weightlifting shoe, new for 2020. This is a first look and unboxing, but we're going to talk fit, sizing, and feel. We're also going to compare it to the original Legacy Lifter and the Romaleos 4, so stick around. All right, today we've got the brand new Legacy Lifter II. Let's take a look. So you can see the shoe is brand new here, by the way. Just got these today. So this is a first look and unboxing. Want to give you an in-depth, up-close look and compare them to some other popular shoes, but this is certainly not any sort of long-term test. So with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So first of all, couple key things, right? These are Olympic weightlifting shoes. So there is a midfoot strap here, right? A hook and loop Velcro to tighten the shoes up nice and tight, but also, of course, a very large heel raise, as you'd expect in an Olympic lifter. And I won't go into an in-depth explanation on that. And let's look at that outsole. So flat, all rubber, grippy, high traction, and very, very firm. So these are very solid, very stable in the outsole, in the midsole, in the insole, the whole thing, very solid stack underneath your feet. Being lifters, these are relatively heavy compared to other shoes like cross trainers, and certainly much heavier than running shoes, which tend to be much more lightweight. But overall, they are for Olympic lifting, squatting, deadlifting, lifting heavy weights, really anything where you want to get a little bit of that heel raise to kind of minimize the amount of ankle flexibility you need. And secondly, the stable, solid foundation that these give you is just remarkable as well. So even if you're not doing the Olympic lifts, but if you're just squatting or something, like these things just, you feel like you're rooted into the ground. And it's very reassuring when you're doing like a heavy squat or something like that. And as we'll talk about here, these have excellent kind of lateral stability, right, from side to side, just because this really wide base and the way this TPU piece kind of cups up like this. There's also a very solid heel cup in there as well. So overall, that's kind of a general tour of the shoe and what it is supposed to do. So let's talk sizing. I ordered these US men's size 11, my normal size. They fit fine. The width is good. The length is a tiny bit long. They're a tiny bit long, but not so much that it's a problem. I do feel like they are a small amount longer than the original Legacy Lifter 1. But generally, I'm going to call these true to size. Order your normal shoe size, and you should be in good shape. They're good in the width, and they might just be a tad long, but who knows, maybe your feet are different than mine. You may not even notice. Okay, so now let's go ahead and compare them with the previous version of the shoe, the Legacy Lifter Original, or Legacy Lifter 1, I'll call it. So a couple things stand out. you can see, let's talk about similarities first. You can see that, let's match up these two here. So look at these, look at the outsole on the two, right? It's different, it's very different, yet very similar all at the same time, right? So certainly if I do this, I think you can really see, right, the similarities in the two around the heel and the general shape of the outsole. And then in general, right, the Legacy Lifter, there's rubber here, there's a cutout. This marks the heel to toe drop, 22 millimeters. This all rubber. There is a full-length stability plate is what that is labeled as. So that's something inside the midsole there. Not really entirely sure what that is, but what it does is it helps make it a very solid foundation for lifting. So let's continue to look a little bit here. So there's a heel cup inside as well. You can see the TPU piece on the new shoe comes up way higher, and it looks like it might kind of grip your feet better, provide for better stability. I will say my initial just fit and feel, this doesn't make it's not a huge difference that you could feel, but I think you could understand where that probably makes for a more secure footing, just having that extra piece wrapped up a little bit higher, right? This is very firm. It's also shiny. This will probably look new forever, I'm guessing, because it's very hard, very firm, and I don't think this stuff is really going to stain or even get dinged up. Whereas on the previous version of the shoe, it's not nearly as shiny. It's a little more less slick. So I don't know, whatever they've done differently there, there's just more of this type of real shiny, tough, slick material there. But at the end of the day, it's TPU. It's some sort of thermoplastic, right? And it's really, really firm, really solid. So let's see. The back strap piece, right? That was this kind of rubber piece that hooks around the heel is there. But look, it's bigger, it's thicker, and it's all around more substantial compared to on the other shoe. You can see the Achilles pad comes up slightly higher, but otherwise it's kind of the same general sort of thing there. You can see on the interior of the shoe and the inside of the shoe what that looks like. Both on the feet feel very similar, and that probably shouldn't be surprising because, it's version 1, version 2, right? It's not like they hit the reset button and did a total do-over on the shoe. I would say it's more kind of mild tweaks. Let's look at the side and the upper. So this is the flex weave version of the Legacy Lifter 1. So it's got flex weave on there. It's tough. It's pretty firm. This is the webpage for Reebok calls this a textile upper, but this is more like, I call this like faux leather, right? It's not cloth. It's not mesh. It's like a fake leather kind of material. And then so is this other stuff. And then, this to me, that's textile, right? This back part of the heel, that's textile for sure. But, it's a synthetic upper. This feels more pliable than the Legacy Lifter 1. But, it's not flimsy either, though. I wouldn't say that. So the other big difference here you can see, right, one strap versus two. And you can see on the old shoe, they had two opposing straps. I like this setup because I felt like you could dial in more precisely the top and the bottom, whereas now the strap, it's kind of in the middle, right? So they split the difference, put it in the middle. It's a single strap. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it's just one of those little things. Like it seems like you can get a more precise fit when you have more inputs to control, so to speak. So down to a single strap. Not a showstopper. Initial thoughts are it's fine, not a big deal. What I do like though, like this always looks super busy to me. So like there's this thing, and then there's this, and then there's this, and ditto on the other side. This just looks to me a lot cleaner, a lot sharper, and overall looks nicer. And you could say that who cares, it's your lifter, but you're paying $200 for these. So if I'm dropping $200 on shoes, they better look good. Right, even if it's just a gym shoe. So other differences, these weigh nearly the same thing. So the Legacy Lifter 1 is 23.2 ounces for a US men's size 11. The Legacy Lifter 2 is 23.3 ounces, so only a tenth of an ounce difference. And that doesn't surprise me because, again, you can see the similarities here in the two shoes, right? It's definitely an evolution of the design rather than a radical do-over. How about the heel-to-toe drop? Well, it was easy to tell on the original shoe because it's right there on the bottom. It's 22 millimeters. They have not done that with this version of the shoe, and they've not published a number either. So I can't look on the bottom and see. It's kind of hard to measure that directly, right? Because it's the heel to toe drop. Now I can measure the heel with a tape measure and a level, and I've done that, and I can tell you the heel, forget all this that's going on the outside. When your heel is sitting in the shoe, it's the same height. What I don't know is what is the height at the toe, right? I can't directly measure that. However, if I had to guess, I think it's the same heel to toe drop. So I'm pretty sure this is 22 millimeter heel to toe drop, but that is not a published number. Forefoot flexibility. The new shoe is a lot more flexible in the forefoot, so it's taken me a lot of force to get that one to bend, whereas this one's definitely more pliable, more flexible. I think that's a good thing because it doesn't particularly matter for me, but I know some people like a more flexible toe area in an Olympic weightlifting shoe. It helps when they're doing the snatch, I think specifically. So that would be regarded as a good thing. Other differences, I mean, really, that's kind of it. And I'll be honest, on the foot, they feel very similar, right? They, it's almost hard to tell. I put one on the left, I put one on the right, as you saw in the on-foot footage, and it's kind of hard to tell which is which. There's not a drastic difference between the two shoes as far as feel. Okay, so now let's compare the Legacy Lifter II to the Nike Romaleos 4. So this, of course, came out earlier in 2020. It's the fourth version of Nike's premium Olympic weightlifting shoe. Quick tour, two straps alternating one side to the other, and big swoosh, kind of a controversial feature. Some people love it, some people hate it. Textile upper, you can see this is a very dense cloth, very firm, not very pliable, very supportive. That's a good thing, right? Because in a weightlifting shoe, you want support, not for it to be flimsy. They really jazzed up the whole heel. The raise is done with this plastic material that is see-through, but they've done something much more interesting with the kind of visual design in that compared to the Romaleos 3 or the 3XD. You can see the flat heel. This thin plastic edge, this is a noisy shoe. It's noisier than any other lifter that I have. Just the clap, you're lifting, you're walking, you're the first pull and all, the second pull and all that kind of stuff. You're when you land, it just makes more noise than the other shoes do. So I don't know if that came across in the on-foot footage I put in, but this is noisier than your average Olympic lifter. They're all noisy, right? They all make that clip clop as you're walking around, but these are particularly bad. What I do like though, wide heel, very stable, and good lateral side-to-side support. So all this stuff here, that's very dense. There's layers of stuff, and there's a heel cup in there, of course, it comes up quite high. Very good lateral support in these. And bottom, grippy. Despite this big giant cutout, this thing has good grip. The rest of this is all rubber, and with the width, it works quite nicely. This is so far my favorite weightlifting shoe of 2020, the Nike Romaleos 4. So let's just line them up real quick here. Take a look. So of course now Reebok has gone back to a single strap right in the middle instead of two. The overall outlines of the shoe, though, you can see a lot of similarity, right? I mean, they both have a big heel raise. I do think they've gone nicer on the aesthetics with the Legacy Lifter II compared to the Legacy Lifter I, so it definitely looks nice. I would say it's in the running with the Romaleos 4 as being a good-looking weightlifting shoe. Some people, again, don't prefer this. Maybe they'll like the more subdued look on the Legacy Lifter II. Weight-wise, these are 22 ounces, men's size 11 and a half. So these, to me, don't have enough room up in the toe box. I got to go half size up to get enough width. So I tell people the Romaleos 4 do not run true to size. I say go half size up, otherwise your toes will be in agony, at least mine will. I don't think I have unusually wide feet, by the way. I think these just run narrow in the same way that the 3XD did. So 22 ounces, men's size 11 and a half. This is, again, men's size 11. These weigh 23.3 ounces, so over an ounce heavier. You can really feel it in these shoes. Well, maybe it's the balance. They're very back heavy to the heel, which is fine. That doesn't matter, but you feel when you pick these up like you could drive a nail in with these things, and that's probably the case. Heel to toe drop. Again, I believe this one is still 22 millimeters. Don't quote me on that because it's not a published number. The Nike Romaleos 4 is 20 millimeters. I got that number from a Nike product support specialist, so I believe that to be accurate. So if you want the maximum in heel to toe drop, the Reebok shoe is still probably your best bet. But 22, 20, can you feel a difference? I can't, at least. Side-to-side stability are very good on both because of the width of the heels. I think you can see there. They're in the ballpark, right? The Nike might have a little bit more width, especially up in the forefoot, but it's not a ton. And, that just helps with that lateral stability, right? When you're squatting, big heavy barbell on your back, this just feels so much more comforting to have a stable, laterally stable shoe underfoot. At least that's what I prefer. So how did the two compare? Well, again, this is a first look, and I literally just got these today. So I have not lifted in these. I'm not going to lie. I have not lifted in the Legacy Lifter II yet. But as I said earlier, they feel eerily similar to the Legacy Lifter 1 and stability-wise as well, so side to side. And I think that's how these are going to play out. So I still give the Romaleos 4 slightly better lateral stability. I can't explain it, but just something with the materials and whatnot. This just is a very, very nice shoe. And this is also not bad, though. Forefoot flexibility, the Nike doesn't have much at all. Well, it does, but the Legacy Lifter has more, the Legacy Lifter 2. And that, of course, is different from the Legacy Lifter 1. So that might be a deciding factor for you here with the new shoe. So overall, hopefully that gave you a quick kind of feeling for what the differences and the similarities are between these two shoes. All right, so let's wrap things up. So the Reebok Legacy Lifter II is the second version of Reebok's premium Olympic weightlifting shoe, new for 2020. It is probably a 22 millimeter heel to toe drop. It weighs about 23.3 ounces for a men's size 11. It runs true to size in my opinion. My normal shoe size fits me fine. It is really what you want in an Olympic lifter, right? It's got the heel raise, it's got the solid outsole, midsole, and insole. New with this shoe, it is more flexible in the forefoot. Maybe that makes a difference, maybe it doesn't. And they've gone down from 2 straps to 1. Minor difference, maybe doesn't matter, but only time will tell. So my standard advice under these kind of situations, because these do feel very similar to the Legacy Lifter 1, is you can probably find a great deal on the Legacy Lifter 1 now, and it's basically going to feel much like this shoe. So save yourself some coin, get that Legacy Lifter 1 if you're on a budget. If you like the looks of these are probably going to be a great weightlifting shoe, because they feel like the Legacy Lifter 1, and that was a great weightlifting shoe itself. So if you like this review, please like, please subscribe. We post new shoe reviews regularly. Thank you. Have a good day.